Hi, hey, and hello there. Obi-Wan here, and welcome back to the Comic High Ground. So, Miles Morales has officially gotten his new run with his new writer, and I said before that I would cover that run when it started, so here we are. There's not a lot to talk about with this first issue, to be honest. It's very much so first issue. We start off by seeing this girl who's walking out of what looks to be a shop, and there's this older lady, and they have a quick conversation before the girl walks on to school. And then there's this incident, an incident involving Scorpion, and the cops are kind of trying to deal with him. And then there's they have like these, I guess, automatic cars, and one of them goes out of control and it almost hits the girl. And then Spider-Man, aka Miles, swoops in and pretty much saves her. Now, while this has all been going on, Miles has been kind of having like this inner monologue talking about how he's kind of struggling lately, and he doesn't really have anybody to turn to because he doesn't want to basically get on his friends and family's nerves by continuing to talk about his problems. And then he doesn't want to talk to Peter about it, or he can't talk to Peter about it because Peter's been like, what do you say, something like strange lately, or off or distant, or whatever his phrasing was. Now, that in and of itself is one of my issues with this first comic, because it kind of harkens on what I said in my Miles Morales video a couple weeks ago, which is they're not handling the Peter and Miles dynamic right at all. Miles should have no problem. There should be no trouble for him to go to Peter and ask him, like, Peter, look, I'm dealing with this, that, and the other. Can you help me out? But and Peter wouldn't mind helping. That's the thing. Peter would definitely be all for helping him. Now, we don't know what exactly the reason is for Peter, or for Miles not wanting to reach out to Peter completely, but we can only just go off of what's going on in the comics right now. We know Peter's dealing with whatever happened in his run, or at the beginning of his run, which we still hadn't found out yet. So maybe that's what Miles is talking about. Maybe he's referring to just Peter dealing with a lot of crap in his life as well. So we'll see. In any case, Miles takes on Scorpion after saving this girl, and Scorpion does the same thing that every other villain does when they come across Miles. Well, every other Peter Parker Spider-Man villain. He pretty much belittles him and says, oh, the real Spider-Man couldn't come. And that's one of my other issues with this story. Miles has been in the 616 universe for a good while now, maybe 8 years. I lost count. Why do we still have people talking about, oh, couldn't bring in the real Spider-Man? Like, come on, come on, okay? Miles has been there long enough. People know that there's another Spider-Man there, and they pretty much know who he is. They know what his colors are, even though he had changed his costume for a little bit. But they know there's a different Spider-Man, okay? So can we please get them to start respecting Miles a little more, as opposed to this, oh, the real Spider-Man couldn't come? That trope is kind of old now, and it's annoying. In any case, Miles does beat Scorpion with relative ease. He has to use his Venom Blast to get the best of him. And then we have like this police force that shows up, and a woman steps out, and she basically tells Spider-Man, hey, look, we don't tolerate vigilantes around here, and I'll give you a chance this time. And it's the standard stuff. Miles makes this comment that she be enforcing this law like this if they were in another neighborhood. Obviously making, I guess, accusations about what their motives are, of course. But anyway, we pretty much progress past that. Miles swings away and heads to school because he's late. When he arrives, Gank has his clothes ready for him, so he swaps into his civilian clothes. And Gank mentions how Miles has this black eye. So Miles is like, well, can't do anything about that. So we get to the class. His teacher is kind of like this jerk who speaks condescendingly to Miles, and the way he was talking to Miles in this issue, honestly, I think that I don't blame Miles for what he did, because I would have did the same thing. He makes one too many smart remarks, and Miles basically kind of spouts off back at him, and this pretty much gets Miles suspended. So at this point, he leaves and kind of goes to take a swing around New York to clear his head. Again, he's talking about having these troubles and everything, and while he's swinging around, he actually gets a phone call from his parents, who obviously the school notified about what had happened, about him being suspended and everything, and they're asking what's going on. So he finally kind of lets them know that he's dealing with a lot with trying to wrestle being Spider-Man and obligations to his personal life and his school life, and it's all kind of closing in on him, and it's really kind of putting him in a dark place, I guess. Which, again, this is one of those things where you look at it and it's like, Peter Parker has literally dealt with this. Why would you not have Peter like on speed dial right now? Like, come on. But anyway, they kind of talk him through it and make sure they let him know that he's still grounded. That's nice. And Miles goes on. He ends up coming across this villain. I can't remember the guy's name. He's kind of wearing like this yellow and black outfit. I thought he was a new villain originally, but apparently Miles has dealt with him before. So they have a little back and forth, and then Miles gets the upper hand, and the guy actually has to tell Miles that he's giving up and to stop hitting him. So Miles was so in this dark place that he just kept wailing on the guy, and then he kind of wailed him up and left. After that, Miles takes a second to breathe and thinks about what Peter would do or what Peter would say, and pretty much says that Peter would say, with great power comes great responsibility, and then crack some type of bad joke, which is spot on. That's definitely what Peter would do. So Miles does recite the words, with great power comes great responsibility, and he says that it does make him feel better every time he says it. So at that point, he swings on off. We then go back to the girl that he saved at the beginning of this story, or this issue, and we see her arrive home, and the older lady who was sitting outside her door asked her how her day was, and she was saying it was great, because who can say they were saved by Spider-Man, right? Well, a lot of people actually, but it's kind of that idea of what she's saying. And then we go inside and we see that she has these monitors up with pictures of Miles both in and out of his costume, along with pictures of his family and friends. So she's apparently watching, or been watching him, and she said something along the lines of enjoy it while you can, Miles Morales, because it won't last long, or something along those lines. So she's some type of spy or villain or whatever they're gonna do. At the very least, I say I'm intrigued by that, because I do wonder how she knows who he is, but at the same time, it's kind of like, why does everybody know Miles Morales' secret identity? Come on. Then again, when you have situations where they're teaming up, Peter and Miles are teaming up, and Peter's literally like, Miles, look out, in front of everybody, you know. I guess it's not that hard for people to figure out his identity, huh? Fix that, Marvel. Anyway, that's pretty much the gist of this comic. There wasn't much going on. Obviously, it's a first issue, so there's not a lot to go off of. My own personal opinions is that, again, they kind of redid some tropes from the previous comics or comic run, so hopefully they fix that. Miles seems to be speaking a tad bit more urban, I guess that's a word, more Ebonics. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just kind of interesting to see. And again, his whole thing about Peter and not wanting to bother Peter, or even not wanting to ask Peter any questions, is strange. Like I said, it's not that difficult to make a correct Peter Parker and Miles Morales dynamic. Look at the game. This game has done it perfectly in Miles Morales, and I'm sure that Spider-Man 2 will do it again, like just as perfectly. So in any case, that's pretty much the issue. I will continue to cover this series. I'm interested to see who this girl is and what she has planned, or what she's scheming for Miles. But yeah, hey, if you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment to let me know what you thought about this, and remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later. Hi, Editing Openheim here. I didn't mention when I was doing this video, but as I was editing, I realized that it's not like my other typical, I guess, story videos. I'm giving a lot more of my opinions of what's going on in the story. So this one is just going to be kind of more so of just a reaction or review to the first issue. Going forward, it'll be more so in the format of the other comic videos I've done, where I kind of am telling the story and maybe quoting some stuff, cracking jokes here and there. I just kind of wanted to give my reaction and my review of this first Miles Morales issue. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment if you have any opinions on what's going on with this new Miles Morales run. And yeah, like I said before, remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later.